The stock market. It's really a beautiful thing. Would you like just to hold hard cash? No, of course not. Not because of the guaranteed inflation eating away your dollar's value. What about putting that money into a savings account? Yeah, that 0.6% APY is not going to get you anywhere. Would you like to make 3% on US Treasuries? It's the closest thing to risk-free. What about this instead? You get to trade in a free market, invest in the best companies the world has to offer. Companies like Amazon, Google, Apple would generate enormous cash flows. On average, the S&P 500 annual return is 10%. Now we're getting somewhere. What does humanity do best? We explore, we experiment, we pioneer. Want 10% returns? Nah, we want to predict. Or maybe we're just a little bit greedy. So how might we go about predicting the future? We can use AI. We can develop something called long short-term memory models. These LSTM models are recurrent neural networks designed to learn long-term dependencies in sequential data. This works with us because stocks are sequential data, aka time series data. Normal RNN models have something called a vanishing gradient problem. So what does this mean? Basically, standard RNN models are unable to retain what happened previously. These RNNs have a hard time linking context across large gaps. LSTMs, however, can retain this context, which is good for the stock market problem in attempts to uncover patterns over long periods of time. LSTM models are large filter systems of information retaining what is important and leaving out what's not. If you want to try out the model now, check out udomo.com and see the AI model in action, predicting weekly price action for popular stocks like Tesla and Apple. If there are stocks you would like to see the AI model to track, comment them down below. I would like your opinions. For example, the AI model did a great job predicting the price action for Apple. Udomo AI said the model predicts Apple will go up the week of February 2nd. This came true. Apple increased 7% from 260 to 278 that week. We also had an accurate prediction on Delta, DAL stock. Udomo AI said the model predicted Delta will go up that week. Delta went up 13% from 67 per share to 75. And then a great prediction for Tesla. Udomo AI predicted Tesla would go down, and this came true that week. Tesla went down 2.4% from 420 to 411. Udomo AI is also outpacing the buy and hold strategy on Tesla stock. Assuming an initial investment of $10,000, the buy and hold strategy would have yielded a loss of around $4,000, while the Udomo AI model yields $6,304 in profit. The model predicts bullish and bearish regimes. There are times where the model predicts bullish moves for a stock, while there are times of bearish move predictions. These regimes are colored in green for bullish and red for bearish. When it is green, the model enters a position and exits once the regime turns red. On average, when green, the model returns 10.5%, and while red, the average return is negative 9%. So on average, the model does a good job separating times of uptrends from downtrends. The chart on the bottom right shows the threshold sensitivity. A lower value slicer means bullish, while a larger value means a conservative model. Now let's get into how the model was built. Now that we have a general understanding of LSTM models, it's time for data. After all, a model is useless without some data. You can get historic stock data from Excel for this example. I'm using the stock history function to get historic weekly stock close data. So why am I doing weekly predictions? Well, predicting stock returns is already hard enough. It's even harder when the time frame is short, the 1 minute, the 1 hour, daily charts, because of these movements are noisier. What is noise? In the financial world, noise refers to the random short-term fluctuations in stock pricing. If we have a lot of movements without significant backing behind them, then the model will learn noise and predict unhelpful predictions. Now that we have weekly stock pricing in Python, we can start generating X features. These are variables we feed the LSTM model to predict the Y variable, our target variable. Our target will be binary. Predict a Y if the stock is up next week, or N if the stock will be down next week. We can derive technical analysis from the close price as our X features. We can generate MACD, RSI, and other popular oscillators to detect overbought and oversold territories. We can also create lagging variables to see if last week's returns have any correlation in the next week's price action. We can also add VIX, which measures the market's expectations of volatility over the next 30 days. The VIX is often called a fear gauge or fear index because it tells how much investors believe the S&P 500 index will fluctuate. We can join the VIX data with the historic stock price action, remove nulls because machine learning models do not like null missing values, and we calculate our Y variable, what happens next week, given the information we know up to this week. We are shifting the weekly price action 1 week in advance because we need to use today's data to predict tomorrow's data. We're using this week's data to predict next week's data. If we keep the price action to this week, then we would have data leakage, and we don't want that. Machine learning models' goal is to predict the Y variable by using the X features. X features are the data points we know in advance before the Y variable is discovered. We are attempting to predict something based on information we know today, whether it be price action, expected volatility, news sentiment, options activity, past earnings. We create X data frame and a Y variable series to separate the answer from the information. Next part is important. We need to train the model and then test the model for accuracy. Think of this machine learning model as a student studying for a test. The model will intake the X variables and attempt to predict Y. Check the answer for Y and see how close the model was to the actual answer. The machine learning model will then adjust the nodes in the network and weights of the X variables to get closer to the Y variable actuals. Now that we have a training X set, we want to perform scaling on the data. Why? Because neural networks like LSTM are sensitive to magnitudes of data size. For example, two variables with values between 0 and 1 are easy to compare against each other, compared to variables like between 0 and 1 and between 1 million and 10 million. This drastic difference is sensitivity for LSTMs. Now this is the magic part of LSTM models, creating the neural network. Neural network is a machine learning model inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. It is designed to recognize patterns, interpret sensory data, and solve complex problems by mimicking the way biological neurons signal to one another. For example, in this model, we start with a model wrapper. The sequential here tells the model to run through the nodes in a linear fashion. The data flows through one layer after another. Number 64 is the number of units or memory cells. This determines the model's capacity to learn complex temporal patterns. Standard activation for LSTMs, TANH, it keeps the memory values between -1 and 1, preventing the numbers from exploding. Input shape tells the model the format of the data. Input window is the look-back period, for example 60 days, and input features is the number of columns. Return sequences is set to true. This tells the layer to pass its entire sequence of 64 hidden states to the next layer. You must set this to true if the next layer is also an LSTM. Finally, we have the kernel regularizer. This is the weight decay. It penalizes the model for having excessively large weights, which helps prevent overfitting, where the model memorizes the training data instead of actually learning from it. Finally, we also have the output layer, which returns a binary prediction, either 0 or 1, where 1 represents the prediction that the stock will go up next week. We also have the dense layer, 1 meaning the final output. Since we're predicting binary outcomes, you only need one neuron. We have activation set to sigmoid. This forces the output to be a probability between 0 and 1. If the result is 0.85, the model is 85% sure that the answer will be yes, that the stock will go up next week. The higher this score, the more confident the model is, while a lower score means that the model is not confident. So great, we created a neural network and trained the model, but does it actually work? This is where testing comes in. We can perform k-fold validation. This essentially tests the model more than once over different periods of time in the test dataset. Basically, we want to ensure the model will work in different scenarios rather than the model, by luck, by chance, happens to outperform in one test. The machine learning model has trade-offs. Do you want recall or precision? Wait, what do these even mean? Precision basically means of all the times the model predicted yes, the stock will go up, how many times were actually correct? Precision measures the model's ability to avoid false alarms or false positives. A high precision score means when the model says it's a buy signal, you can have more confidence in it, even if missing out on a few other opportunities. Recall, which is also known as sensitivity, answers the question of all the actual yeses that existed, how many did the model find? This avoids missed opportunities or false negatives. High recall means the model is great at catching every single instance of what you're looking for, even if accidentally triggering some false alarms. Therefore, we can consider recall as a measure important for long-term investors. We want a model to be able to catch every single instance where it's a buying opportunity, even if that means some false alarms along the way. As long as your long-term horizon is good, then you want to know all the entry points. This is different from precision. Perhaps you want to buy call options on a stock, and you only want to leverage and enter the position if the model is very sure that next week the stock will go up. Having high precision is more important than high recall if you're going to do a leveraged trading strategy. Just because the AI model has a good score doesn't necessarily mean the machine learning model is actually helpful. And this is one of the slippery slopes. If the stock market had a good year and the stock goes up week after week, the AI model will just learn to always predict up. Sure, the model's accurate 99% of the time, but the model's also right because it overlearned the majority class. When a massive correction comes, the model will be dead wrong. The model may have strong precision and recall for the up class, but the model is terrible at detecting down weeks, which is just as important for us to know and predict well if we want to outperform the market of the underlying stock. To optimize between precision and recall, we can use the propensity threshold where these two lines cross. We can also generate a confusion matrix to see the decisions the model made compared to the actual Y values. For example, the model for Delta stock had a decent confusion matrix where the darker shade occurs to true positives, and the model predicted up and the actual value was also indeed up. The model predicted down while the actual price action was indeed down. Finally, after making the model predictions on the test set, which is the rest of the data frame that the model has never seen before, We can plot the stock price against the AI's prediction. Notice how the model shades green at good entry points, while the times to exit are shaded in red. Each shade is predicting the directional movement of the stock next week. You can calculate the alpha generated between the buy and hold method versus the LSTM model. And the results are meh. Buy and hold generated more returns compared to our model against Delta stock. We can visualize this with a line chart. Our LSTM model seems to sell too quickly and missed out on some runs. We can toggle the propensity score threshold to see where the most alpha is generated. This alpha sensitivity chart on udomo.com shows us exactly that. How our backtest performance changes as the propensity threshold changes. The most optimal threshold is 0.39. Increasing the threshold degrades the alpha because increasing the threshold makes the model more conservative, causing us to miss out on trades. I trained this AI model on multiple stocks like Apple, Delta, GameStop, Tesla, and the model outperforms on some of these underlying stocks. However, this model is not perfect. For example, like just look at Meta. Clearly, the model sucks at trading Meta. So, what does this tell us? The features we are feeding into this model have no predictive power to help the model predict the direction of Meta stock. We need more data. Perhaps news sentiment analysis. Was the news bullish or bearish last week? Or retail activity? Are retail investors talking about Meta? Are they bullish? Are they bearish? Earnings data can help too. Is Meta's revenue increasing? Is the price to sales ratio expensive or cheap? The model is available at udomo.com, and I appreciate your support. What are other stocks you would like to see the LSTM model trained on? How can we improve this model? I would enjoy reading your ideas down in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next one.